Welcome to a review of 368 pages of pure sadness. This video, if you haven't guessed it already, is going to be going over book 4 of the Heaven Official's Blessing series as I continue to chug my way through this 8-book series that continues to throw me curveballs. This book was just complete sadness to me. Between everything that happens, let me already go ahead and just, for those who haven't watched the other videos, this video will have spoilers of main plot points and we'll be diving into anything that is involved with book 4, but nothing further as I have not read anything further. So you're safe from any spoilers for future things, but not safe for anything that has happened in book 4 back to book 1. So this book sees just the breakdown of Xilan's entire, system of people keeping him stable up in the upper courts in heaven, and just everything. Just the further you get in this book, the more heartbreaking it is for the main plot points. For my blog review, I broke this down into main points, which followed the Windmaster and the Reverend of Empty Words and the terrible things that happened, and then I broke it down into my favorite points, which were the happier parts that didn't make me want to cry my eyes out. Basically the slice of life moments that happened with Xilan and Huachang. So with this book seeing the demise of many aspects, including the breakdown of the Windmaster, the death of the Watermaster, the betrayal of Ling Wen. This book was just a lot to take in. Starting off from where we ended in book 3, with the group ending up in a completely different place than they were intending when they began to hunt down the Reverend of Empty Words. Something's already feeling off, and then they see the fire social. It seems like it's okay. You have the cute little exchange of passwords between Xilan and Huachang. Really cute. They play the little game to test and see if the Earth Master is really who he says he is, and he's passing them for the most part. But just things seem off, and it continues to just go downhill further and further when the mob of people come and the Windmaster is kidnapped. And just the everything. One of the interesting things that I liked was the use of the soul shifting spell. Xilan just jumping in to try and save the Windmaster, knowing that he would not be affected by anything that he says, except for, the one thing that he says about your friends will meet a demise, and he freaks out because he's worried about Huachang. Again, very cute, and I love these little simple things that are just snuck into there, but they're not super distracting, that kind of add to the dynamic and prove how much they care about each other. This book is actually kind of full of it, in between the really sad parts. So going through all of these terrible things that they're doing to help hunt down the Windmaster, him being put into an area to where all your treasures are protecting you, and all he has to do is wait. Whenever it's found out that he's gone, that's when you just know something's going bad. You just know that things are wrong, and it's not going to end well. The thing that confused me the most in this section to where they're hunting down the Windmaster and trying to get him back is when they know where he's at, they know that he's in this place, but Xilan still goes ahead and calls the Watermaster, who he's told from the beginning, do not call, because the Windmaster doesn't want to distract him from his third set of heavenly tribulations. Why does he call him? I still don't quite understand that, so if I misread something and you know why he called him, please let me know in the comments, because I'm confused, and that to me it sets the trajectory to just plummet, because the Watermaster knows where he is, he takes him away, he's acting weird, he's saying, no, it's a family issue, leave him alone, I'll take care of it, and it feels weird, and nothing seems right. You get a little break with Ghost City and stuff, and then kind of goes to the secondary plot with the mountain opening up and the ghosts getting ready to fight to become a new Ghost King, and I do like that, and I'm actually looking forward to that. I think book 5 is going to be about that, so I'm looking forward to that. But before we get there, we have to go through this, and everything is just going to hell. We do get the nice little moment of the cover art happening, to which at least now I have proof to say that this is not what it looks like, which try and explain that to the people around you who haven't read this series. That's really fun. We get the whole kind of domestic scene, and then we get to go back. Of course, 𝔽𝕨 can't just leave him alone because he knows that his friend's in danger. So what does he do? He goes and he tries to help him escape. And then they're basically, you got like 3 gods like on the run from the heavens and like from the water master who's gone off to begin his tribulations. And then all this escalates to, oh my god, we told your brother that you were missing, and so now he can't do his tribulations because now he's distracted. And it's just like, why did you tell him? This was just legitimately just a guilt trip move to get the Windmaster to come with them. And it's super annoying that he fell for that. But you know, they need to do that to get to the water, to get over to Blackwater's area. And just, I actually really liked when they went into that, because it kind of gave like a whole little foreshadowing, especially with the Earthmaster not really knowing how to use his spiritual weapon or spiritual device. It's a shovel, so take with it what you want to call it. But it's played off so well by saying, oh, he doesn't use it in combat. It's a shovel, so it's not like pristine enough to carry around, so of course he's not going to be able to use it. That covering up for the fact that he's not actually the Earthmaster was genius, because I didn't see anything wrong with that. But the amount of like little things that kept the story super suspenseful, but also were like super like weirdly like low stakes, like with 𝔽𝕨 and 𝔽𝕨 trying to get off the island, and it's just like, oh, only caskets that have held the dead can float in this water because it's the special water, it's Blackwater's territory. And them going, you're dead, let's build you a little boat. And then the whole deal with them getting tossed and turned, and reading that actually made me laugh, which with the rest of the content was greatly appreciated, that it's just sprinkles in like the little domestic comedy in it. And I've said this in other ones, but it just makes me love this book so much, because it's not just bearing down on these terrible things that's happening, and it's not like diverting it to like make you happy and then going back. It's like sprinkling it in, and it's like the perfect amount. But then of course we gotta get back to the bad things. So with them ending up on the island, all of them are together, they're trying to find the Windmaster, because once again he has gone missing, and them finding him just so like broken, and like he's in this prison, and he's like, don't worry about me, worry about the Earthmaster. Like, I've tried to help him out, and just all of like the emotions that is pouring out in these scenes. And then them finding the house and the bones, and then finding out later that it's actually the original Earthmaster, like the true Earthmaster's bones, and that's why it jumped up and tried to attack. Was like the little bits of foreshadowing that are just so cleanly put in is just so amazing. And I wish I got that amount in other books that I've read, but this is just, it's so well written. It just, every time I'm reading through one of the books in this series, I'm just so surprised about just how well written all the story is, the elements put in it. It's amazing. And so them just so happen to finding the room that can, you know, bring everyone back, and like 𝔽𝕨 being suspicious, and like, you know, that this is too easy, you know, those feelings that happens there. And so it's just like, what's going on? They're back in the little shrine, and everything seems good until 𝔽𝕨 calls 𝔽𝕚, and it's just like, hey, are they back yet? And she's like, no. Where were you? Like, we haven't been able to get a hold of you. And he's like, oh, we were in the part of the sea that we weren't supposed to be in. And so having to like figure out what to do, and 𝔽𝕨's just like, just stay out of it. But of course he can't, because it's 𝔽𝕨, and he can't stay out of anything because he's too nice to the world. So of course he uses the soul shifting spell, but I forget why. Either he doesn't have enough power, like there's a block, but he's sharing the body of the Windmaster. And that scene is like super high circumstances, to where like he's in very much grave danger, but him freaking out whenever 𝔽𝕨 appears was really funny. But him trying to get it through his head that like this is not who he thinks he is, and he needs to run away, was like done super well. And like them playing together was like really pleasing and like really well written. But whenever he finds his brother and his brother tricks the Earthmaster, I was not expecting that, so I really enjoyed that. And I was so sad when they're running away and they're so close, and then it happens. Once, for like the 5th time in this book, the Windmaster is taken away. And then you get to like the saddest part. This part almost had me crying. I was so upset. And everything for the first time in this book is coming out, that the Watermaster trained and trained. He tried to protect his brother, who was cursed as a baby, and you know, this Reverend of Empty Words was hunting him down. But because his brother loved him so much, he tried, he ascended to godhood, and he used that power to have him ascend too. And I was already getting a bit weary of how the Windmaster had ascended, because you know, you have to do like all these things to get the chance to ascend, and it didn't seem like he really trained. He seemed very like la-di-da about a lot of things, and it's like he ascended while he was drinking in a lodge, and I'm just like, something doesn't seem right. And then it, you know, clicks that he ascended because his brother, and he swapped fates with someone else who happened to later become Blackwater. And Blackwater was this Reverend of Empty Words that was chasing him down in this whole book. And that was why, because he wasn't actually the Reverend, why not all of the tests that were being thrown at him were giving them the results that they wanted. So that was also another like nice little wrap up of explaining stuff. And so then you get like the heartbreaking scene of him declaring that one of the brothers must die, and them like trying to like fight each other to figure out like who was gonna be saved, and just it's just so heartbreaking. And then whenever the Watermaster dies, and then they have the nerve to put the illustration on the next page in this. Like, my heart was already broken. You don't need to show me. Like, that was hard to read. Like, I felt so much grief for the Windmaster. Like, my heart just broke for him. I've loved his character through this entire book, and seen him go through all this pain and all these terrible events, and just ending the book and still not knowing if he was alive or not. Like, that alone is like a huge push for me to continue to see if we can get him back and if he's alive or not. Like, I very much need him to be alive. If he's not, my heart is just going to shatter, and I'm so scared. But of course, you know, killing off half your cast isn't good enough for this book. No, the only thing worse could be, you know, 𝕚𝕟, you know, turning against all of heaven and running away with the 𝕚𝕟𝕟. I still don't fully even know what that is, but just that whole ending part with the 𝕚𝕟𝕟, and just the connection between that and the mountain, and trying to figure out, after this terrible tragedy has happened, how to stop the ghosts from trying to fight it out in this mountain to be born as a ghost king. Like, that is a good way to wind down, but also, like, you know it's building towards something big. Like, you know something's going to happen, especially if it's affecting all of these ghosts so badly to where Hua-Chang, he just sends the little kid back to Ghost City, which is fine. He's protected by him transforming into a little kid because it reduces his power. Like, him willingly reducing his power, like, you know something is actually like happening. Is not just him being funny. And like, you just know this book is setting up for something big in like book 5. I hope it's book 5, because I can't wait a whole book to figure out what's happening. But ending with the monks coming to the shrine and all of that happening, just to end with 𝕚𝕟 running away, and especially with Xilan not knowing how to get a hold of like anyone in the heavens, and him just by like gut reaction calling 𝕚𝕟 to report this. And just like, you really get thrown into perspective of what's happening. He has lost the Windmaster, who was his only friend, the only person who treated him nicely, and now he's lost 𝔽𝕚𝕟, like the only like confidant, like the person who he would report everything to. He doesn't know anyone else's password. He doesn't really talk to anyone. He's never talked to anyone, and so he's kind of up a creek, and it's not looking great. And so this book ends with a very grim, view of like going forward. What is he gonna do? But of course, luckily, this book has sprinkled in a lot of like nice, cute slice of life things. Like, one of my favorites is the little field day that I call it. A nice little domestic. They're helping out in the fields, and you just get a nice little break from all of the trauma. And of course you get like the cute little illustration in there, and then of course, the two idiots together, 𝔽𝕨 getting jealous of, oh, how old is he? Does he have a wife at home? And him like getting jealous, like, I don't like the idea of him having a wife and kids at home. And then 𝔽𝕨 being like, yeah, no, like, I haven't gotten the person yet. And like, it's such good, like, two idiots not expressing their feelings for each other. It's done so well that it's not irritating. But that part was probably one of my favorites, because it was just like really chill, like no stakes. They're just like helping out in a field, putting like rice paddies in the ground. And then of course, like, even like jumping back to the beginning with the little scene of when the Windmaster's first kidnapped back towards the temple of water and wind, and everyone's frantically panicking, and it reads, every time 𝔽𝕨 turns around to check on 𝔽𝕨, he's in different outfits, or he's changed something about his appearance. I think that just is such a simple thing to throw in there that really shows off where 𝔽𝕨 stands in all of this. He's there, one, for 𝔽𝕨, because he wants to be close to him all the time because he worships him, but two, he does not care about anyone else. 𝔽𝕨 is not in danger, so he's just casually just enjoying the chaos. But then as soon as the soul shifting spell goes in, he starts to panic. So I believe that this, like, just a little bit just really helps showcase his character, his overall character, and his connection to 𝔽𝕨. And of course, I just love that this, like, the most depressing book of this entire series that I've read so far just happens to have this as the cover. And I love having to explain that this is not what you think. And also explaining that, oh, they're transferring spiritual energy doesn't help. But similar scenes like this happen twice, and I bring this up in the blog post that I wrote. And, like, they're very interesting scenes, but similar in reasoning for why they happen. Like the first one in Thousand Light Temple, when the mountain first begins to like cause pain, like the ghosts are like in severe pain, they can't control themselves, and like essentially black out since he doesn't remember what happened. But instead of running away, like 𝔽𝕨 tells him, 𝔽𝕨 can't stand to see him in so much pain, and so he takes on like the like enormous amount of spiritual pressure from the energy. And I also want to note, since like 𝔽𝕨 is, he's a ghost king, so obviously like he's high up and like he's like very powerful, so he can take on a lot of spiritual power. But 𝔽𝕨's a martial god. Like, he might have ascended for a third time and like have those shackles, but does that inhibit his ability to take in power? Because like he struggles with that, and like struggles like even with like the little bit of power that 𝔽𝕨 gives him earlier. So that is a question that I got in this book that I'm hoping will be answered, but might be one that just is never answered, because like that's a really random question for me to have. But with that being scenario number one, and then scenario number two being flipped, and 𝔽𝕨 basically taking back the spiritual energy that he loaned to get 𝔽𝕨 back into his body after the second attempt for soul switching, to where he's sharing the body. And so like again, like the first time was like protecting 𝔽𝕨, and then the second time it's 𝔽𝕨 protecting 𝔽𝕨. So like I think taking away like all of the, you know, physical aspects between that, it really shows like the emotional connection that they have to want to protect each other. And even looking past all the terrible things, you do get, I think, some more bonding between the two, which is very nice. I feel like the relationship between them is growing at a very organic pace, and the more we learn about them and the more we see them just naturally progress in the dynamic, I'm really liking this, because again, they're keeping it as more of like a little subplot and then keeping the main focus of the terrible thing that is happening in the world as the main plot. And I think that's just going super well for this story, and I can't wait to finish reading the 5th one. Actually, I already have it over here on my desk, and I'm not super far. I'm only 80 pages in, so I like literally just started it, but I needed to get this video recorded, that way I can be distinct in which book has which content in my brain. So now that this is recorded, I can really dive in to this and figure out what goes on next, because like I don't even read the little blurb in the back because I don't want to get spoiled or given hints to anything. So I'm actually really excited to continue on with book 5. I might even go back and reread the first 80 pages because, like, little spoiler for book 5, but you get to see like baby form of Hwa-Chang, and like he's just so cute, and I kind of want to go back just to like see them again. So yeah, but that basically wraps up everything. Very traumatic, but worth it, I guess. I don't know. I just want the Woodmaster to be okay. I love him so much. Like, he might not have deserved to ascend to godhood, but he's just such a nice person. I don't want him to be gone. He's been through so much. And like, what's Shilong gonna do? He has Hwa-Chang on his side, but that's basically it now. So, I don't know. I'm holding my breath going forward, but I'm hoping good things finally happen to him in the upcoming pages. We'll see. But yeah, so basically that's it for my review, rambling, of book 4 of Heaven Official's Blessing. So, like normal, if you have read this book, have any interaction with this book, and want to leave comments about your interpretation, if you agree with what I thought, if you don't agree, if you interpreted something different, if I missed something in my review, let me know down below, because I am human and I do miss stuff, and I do misinterpret things a lot. So yeah, just leave a comment with your thoughts if you want to, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like the content that I put out here, subscribe.